Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to Cutscene Convos, episode 32.
You had to check then.
No, I didn't. My eyes didn't dart over to my tab to see what number it was.
So I checked right before every episode anyway.
My brain wanted to say 33, but I was like, that doesn't sound right. We're not on 33 episodes, right?
My brain was still on we're episode 30 now, right? I know we're in the 30s, but I just don't.
Yeah, 32.
Well, yeah.
I just told you.
Anyway.
It's wild. We keep it running.
We do.
I mean, we're 3 months and 18 days away from the day the 1 year anniversary of the channel being created.
Yeah, I actually can't believe we're already into the final stretch of the year, so to speak.
I know.
September 1st.
It's been a big old change, that's for sure. I've gone into a different room. We've gone from audio only to audio and video to me actually having a computer.
We've gone from struggling to make an hour to struggling to keep it under 2 hours.
Yeah.
We had no content, now we've got too much content.
We're breaking ourselves up into segments. We've taken on Star Wars. We're going to be doing Lord of the Rings stuff.
I'm so ready for the Lord of the Rings haters. It's going to be great.
They shall not pass.
Oh, set you up for that.
We've got a busy week this week. We're doing a character profile on Spider-Man. We're going to be discussing She-Hulk episode 3. We've got our final thoughts of the new Lord of the Rings Rings of Power TV show. We are back with the superhero showdowns with our brand new and improved bracket.
Yes.
We've got some predictions and outrageous hopes and dreams for D23. There's a little bit of news to go through as always, and then I'm sure we'll find a reason to not stop recording for 10 minutes after we've got through all the stuff we should have got through.
Yeah.
But before we get into all that good stuff, Mr. Horizontal, how are you doing? How's your week been?
Doing good. My week's been good. I've had a chill week-ish. Well, chill, but at the same time kind of busy with work. A lot of...
Chill in the sense of not stressful, but you've been busy.
Yeah, not stressful, but just work that's like last minute comes up, projects that we need quick turnarounds on and stuff, which is, in the world of esports, happens a lot, and it is what it is, and it's
bread and butter.
Yeah, it's like, it is what it is. That didn't bother me. I'm more than happy to. So lots of those, and then some big projects that can't speak on, but I've already teased to you. And then obviously just been watching the VCT, the Valorant champs.
I'm greatly enjoying it. I'm so bad at keeping up with esports in general. My big complaint with esports is they are not very good at getting in front of their viewers' eyes when it's happening. Yes, they tweet out from their Twitter accounts, but if you're not following them, like, even you not being a football fan, you know when big football games are going on. The World Cup final isn't going to happen without you knowing.
Yeah. And
I know obviously it's a lot bigger, but they need to start striving towards that. People who don't even watch esports should be stumbling across the fact that, a gaming thing is happening right now. Because I cannot be trusted to remember when important, entertaining stuff is happening.
I think, especially with Valorant, because they're owned by Riot, like, they do a good job of getting worlds out there because it's been around for so long and such a big event now. So it'll come. Yeah, but esports especially does have, like, there's always so much going on.
Yeah, I think they need to start running adverts on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
Because you watch TV, you'll see, there's cricket on here, there's football over here, there's rugby coming up. If I'm chilling watching gaming YouTube videos, because like on YouTube you can choose what you want to advertise on, they can just go gaming videos, throw the fact that Champs is going on these dates in there.
Yeah.
And that will remind me. It sounds dumb. I'm asking for adverts. Let me know that it's happening.
I think it's things that'll improve as the scene develops. But
Of course.
Anyway, how's your week been?
You know, it's been really weird because I could not tell you for the life of me what I've done for the last 7 days.
Work?
Well, no, because it's been a short week because it was bank holiday weekend.
Oh yeah, it was. What's bank holiday? I don't know. I genuinely, even on the Monday, until my mum told me it was bank holiday Monday, I'd completely forgot because I don't follow bank holidays.
What was it? So Saturday and Sunday was editing, video games. Same for the Monday.
Yeah.
Now it's back to work Tuesday, and now it's Thursday all of a sudden. I don't know. Days just disappear.
They do. I can't like.
I'm my schedule, and you know what? This isn't me complaining at all. I'm very happy with everything I've got going on, but my schedule is so jam packed with a full 9 to 5, trying to spend time with my family, my friends, my girlfriend, trying to stream and edit my shorts for my stuff as well as all the stuff we do here. Very quickly, just the next episode's there.
Oh yeah, it's like I feel like I blink on a Monday, and it's Thursday again, and I'm like, oh,
well, yeah,
podcast time.
But yeah, at the beginning of this, before like I had a PC as such, and like still the early days of the PC when I was less consistent with my content, you'd get like the first draft for the running order like early Monday morning.
Yeah.
Now, if you see a draft before Tuesday evening, I'm on the fucking ball.
Makes no difference to my level of planning.
It's
but...
just we just work on different timelines now. It's just busy, and it's good because we're definitely seeing rewards for how busy we're keeping ourselves. But
oh yeah, we're definitely putting in our 40 hours a month.
Yeah. Now I just need that $2.5 so I can complain that I'm being exploited.
Yeah, we need that 100 fees paycheck. To which the nerd community or comic book community probably has no idea what we're on about. But
I feel like there's a good crossover.
It probably is. But yeah,
maybe that's the niche that once we have a little bit more of a following, we can really grind a hole in, where gamers and comic book nerds cross over. The Connor of the Venn diagram.
Right, slap bang in the middle.
Fuck yeah, baby. Oh, anyway. On to our character profile.
Yes. Very unknown character this week.
Yeah. So it's funny because obviously, like, we've done 32 episodes. This is going to be I believe this is going to be our 30th character profile.
Yeah, something like it's been
because we had 2 guest episodes where I didn't do a character profile.
Yeah.
And I don't think there was one in the very, very first episode.
Yeah, probably wasn't.
So I went back through this week and put together a list so that I didn't risk doubling up on characters. But I realised in that list a lot of them were like really obscure or really relevant to the time.
Yeah.
But we've always said we want to be like an entry level for people who don't really know what's what.
Yeah, and I mean we've kind of used the character profiles a lot of the time for obscure characters in the shows or films that are cropped up, so we can help people know who they are.
But I mean, you might have been watching MCU for years, and yeah, you know the characters in the MCU format, but you might not know them more than that, and you might want to know more than that. So this brings us on to Spider-Man, but not Peter Parker. Miles Morales, the other one.
Specify.
Debated.
I was going to be surprised if it was Peter Parker, I'll be honest.
Did I not?
In the running order to me.
Draft, in the original one I sent you, it said Miles.
Oh, I'm looking at the newest one you sent me.
Yeah. I changed that to Spider-Man so that I could fit in my joke.
Ah, I see.
Anyway, well, here's the thing. I'll explain my rationale because it was more than just a joke.
Yeah, I think I know.
When you are dealing with a legacy character like Miles is, it feels really reductive to that character and how good they are to just refer to them as Miles, because that by default means you don't think of them as Spider-Man.
Yeah, I get you.
So I thought it was only fair to acknowledge that he is Spider-Man. He's one of 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, Miles made his initial debut in Ultimate Fallout number 4.
Okay.
Now Miles is originally from Earth 1610,
Yep.
which is the Ultimates universe, which was a very successful and infamous comic run, which included such stories as Wanda and Quicksilver's incestuous relationship, and shits and giggles like that. It
The
was
weird
really good
stuff.
at the start, and then they just got more and more outrageous until they decided to just blow the universe up, quite literally.
Wow, that's the quickest way out for them.
There is an original Earth 616 Miles, but that is a very different story for a different day.
Oh.
So Miles's powers are obviously very similar to Peter's, and his origin is pretty similar as well. It is slightly different because obviously the Peter's is that we know is Earth 616.
Yep.
But there was a Peter in Earth 1610 as well, who was also Spider-Man. And he got bitten by an Oscorp spider that had been genetically enhanced. And as part of that project, obviously they're making more than one spider because they were testing different things. So when Miles' uncle broke into Osborn Industries, a spider from that project that was similar to the one that bit Peter crawled into Miles' uncle's bag.
Right.
Miles' uncle obviously being Aaron Davies, who's also known as the Prowler. But we can get into that another day as well. And basically, Miles got accepted into a very prestigious school, but needed money to be able to go. His uncle, being a criminal, had a strained relationship with Miles' parents, but him and Miles always got on really well. So Miles was just kind of excited and wanted to talk to him about it.
Yeah.
While he was visiting him, the spider crawled out of Uncle back and bit Miles.
Classic.
So the spider crawled out of Miles' uncle's bag. Now this is where it gets quite interesting. Miles and his friend Ganke.
What a name.
Yeah, Ganke Lee. It's really interesting. Ned Leeds in the MCU is named after another Spider-Man character that actually behaves more like Ganke, which is just a fun fact for you.
Interesting.
So Ned Leeds is the original Hobgoblin, but is very, very different in the comics. Whereas Ned Leeds in the MCU is actually more like Ganke, which is, I don't know, I find that quite funny.
I mean, it's just MCU.
So, as pretty standard, you got to remember Miles had grown up in a world with superheroes, so getting superpowers doesn't seem ridiculous.
No.
But basically, him and Ganke worked out that after some like superhero montage stuff, worked out that Miles had similar powers to Spider-Man. There are some fun little extra powers we'll get into in a little bit. But basically, he was Spider-Man. He had Spider-Man powers. But Miles was apprehensive because he just wanted to have a normal life, be a normal kid, go to school, meet a pretty girl, get a job, get married, die.
Don't we all?
Exactly. He was like, I don't want to be special. I've seen what being special is like in this world. I'd much rather be normal. And because Spider-Man was there, he kind of just left Spider-Man to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, fair enough then.
But then a couple of months after that, Norman Osborn, as well as a lot of the other great villains that Spider-Man had faced, kind of broke out of prison and knew Peter's identity. So went to try and kill people he cared about.
Oh.
And during that, he got beaten on a lot. Lots of things went wrong, and Peter died.
Oh, shit.
Some of you might remember because it was actually really big news when it happened in newspapers. A lot of newspapers did print, "Oh my God, Marvel have killed off Spider-Man."
I feel like I remember this.
Yeah, but they never obviously this was before the MCU. This was oh no, I guess it wasn't before the MCU. It would have been early days of the MCU still. they were kind of like, oh my god, they've actually killed off Spider-Man after what at the time would have been like 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now it looks like there's going to be this little black boy replacing him. What's the world come to?
Classic media
Yeah,
back
yeah,
then.
yeah. I'd love to say it's back then, but it's probably still
Well,
around the
yeah.
same way today.
True in some
Anyway,
places.
Miles seeing a hero he looked up to and was obviously not too dissimilar to him,
Mm-hmm.
die in such a way, Miles felt bad for not like helping.
Right, yeah, got you.
And as a result of that, he decided he would carry on Peter's legacy. Because he now kind of understood that with his great powers, a great responsibility was also imbued upon him.
Classic. Well done.
Of course, you're Spider-Man. It's the rules.
Some wording of that has to be in there.
Yeah. So this was that's his origin. He
Mhm.
then met Jessica Drew, who is Spider-Woman, because she was kind of like, who's this dickhead running around with spider powers pretending to be Peter? And then after meeting Miles and taking him to S.H.I.E.L.D., she was like, okay, he's okay. I trust him to carry on Peter's legacy. Sweet. So after the events of Secret War in 2015, which
Yeah.
was an incursion,
Mhm.
Miles and his entire family, some of whom had died in the Ultimate Universe, all were transported to Earth 616. So Miles, his mother, father, Ganke, and a couple of others
Oh,
are now part of the mainline continuity as a result of Secret War.
just kept the people they want to keep.
Exactly. They realised that the Ultimate Universe had gone off the rails. So they went, okay, we did do some good stuff here. Let's keep that and bin the other stuff. It was handled as well as it could be.
Yeah, that's comic books.
But also, Miles was a very big part of Civil War 2 in 2016. Which is definitely a story for a different time. There's a lot going on there. But bearing in mind he'd not been in the main continuity that long, and he wasn't the only Spider-Man anymore, because Earth 616 Spider Peter was still alive.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting how big a part of that he was. But yeah, just to wrap us all up here, he has the same basic powers as Peter, but the spider that he was bit by also gave him 2 additional abilities. One known as his Venom Blast, which is bioelectricity, which he kind of produces and then can use to stun enemies and shock them.
Sounds sus.
As well as, and on top of that, he also has a spider camouflage, is how it's described. It's basically invisibility, unless you're like staring right at him and looking for something.
Got you.
So when you've got someone who's like super athletic and can stick to walls, he can use his camouflage enough to the point where people aren't going to see him.
Yeah, you can blend with his surroundings.
Exactly. It's one thing if you see someone climbing on your roof. It's another thing if you see like a weird little shimmery thing climbing on your roof.
Yeah.
Think Predator.
Yeah.
There is a shimmer there, but you have to really be looking for it. So yeah, if you didn't know about one of the Spider-Man, Mr. Miles Morales, now you do. He's personally one of my favourite characters, and as I read more of his stuff, I like him even more. It's an absolute certainty in my mind we're not far off getting him in the MCU.
I was going to say,
and I am
soon to be in the MCU, right?
very, very excited. One thing I should add on to this is that Miles Morales was actually inspired partially by Danny Glover.
Yes.
Who played his uncle in Homecoming.
Yes.
So those of you will remember, Donald Glover had a cameo in Homecoming where he played a guy trying to buy some of the weapons from the Vulture's crew. In a deleted scene, you see Aaron still with the web on his hands, sat on the floor on the phone going, "Hey Miles, sorry I'm not going to make it, buddy. I got caught up in some stuff." So we know Miles exists in the MCU.
Yeah, we do.
And it's really funny, the reason that Donald Glover is the inspiration is because around the time they were casting Amazing Spider-Man,
Yes.
and Donald Glover in the Community was wearing Spider-Man pajamas, and someone on Twitter, because it's always fucking Twitter way. You know what? Danny would be like a really good Peter Parker Spider-Man, I think. And he kind of ran with that, being the funny guy that he is. And then before you knew it, on Twitter was trending,
Black Spider-Man.
yeah, Donald Glover for Spider-Man, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and then they see the reception that got, and then that led to them making the comic.
So it wasn't so much that Michael Bendis, that one of the creators, saw it, and he was like, "Why don't we have a Black Spider-Man?"
Yeah.
And then there was a couple of other big parts of the inspiration as well. I can't remember what they are. And then from that, he kind of molded what Miles would become.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, he's a brilliant character. He has some really interesting stories. If you're looking to get into Spider-Man, but you feel like Pete is a bit played out for you, or if Pete is just a bit too OG for you and you want someone a bit newer and fresher,
bit too boomer for you.
Yeah. Check him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look forward to when he gets added to the MCU. Properly.
I'm so excited. I'm going to be like that first episode we do after Miles's arrival. I'm going to be unbearable.
What do you mean after that?
That's outrageous.
Set me up for that one.
Drama alert. Wii U. Just trying to throw away everything we worked really hard for a little punchline. What a sad little life, Jane.
Well, for all the punchlines you've done over the 32 episodes, and I'm still
okay, here. But you being old is fair game.
Referee.
Referee. Anyway, stop wasting time, Harry. God damn it. She-Hulk episode 3.
Yes, great episode.
I really enjoyed it, and there's a number of reasons for which. And I'm going to try and remember to go through the stuff in timeline order here.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's tricky. We'll probably end up bouncing backwards and forwards. So once again, we got like the really long intro where, bearing in mind that last week's episode was like 20 minutes, we got like a minute and a half of a recap that you couldn't skip. I'm like, we've basically just rewatched the entire episode.
Yes, but at least this time, because I don't think they did it last time, they actually said previously on.
Oh, did they actually say previously on?
Yeah, it came up saying previously on. So I was like, okay, so they are doing. It's just maybe Disney Plus just didn't have the skip feature like Netflix does.
No, but it does have the skip button.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, they've got it on Family Guy to skip the intro.
Oh, I haven't watched Family Guy on Disney Plus.
It's my happy show. I get to go back and watch it.
Oh, so okay, they do have the way to do it then.
Yeah, they do it. They're just choosing not to.
It's whoever uploads it to Disney Plus just doesn't put the marker there. They're just like, it's fine. So I think it was shorter though than last week's.
No, this one was longer.
Well, the like.
Oh, sorry, the intro.
No, sorry,
the overall episode.
The previously on.
I think the intro was a touch shorter. Yes.
Which meant it took less off the whole.
But I mean, there was also less episodes from the week before for them to catch us up on.
That is true. There was less need for it.
Exactly. I mean, there's no need for it.
There's a little bit of need. Some people have bad memories.
Anyway, irrelevant. So, key notice points from this week for me.
Mm-hmm.
The writers of this show are very aware of toxic Marvel fans and are constantly making fun of them.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Same.
Fourth wall breaking is becoming more prevalent.
Yes.
And I think the prevalence of it is becoming... The more prevalent it is, the more accepting she's becoming of her situation.
Yes.
That's kind of how I view it. At the beginning,
Yeah.
she's like not doing it that often because she's not like accepting her situation fully. And
Mhm.
as she accepts her situation more, she's like breaking the fourth wall more. I'm not sure if that's intentional or a happy accident or me overanalyzing and people, bro, it's not that deep. Creative people think about this stuff when they're writing shows. They really do.
Yeah.
I could see it kind of being a thing like that.
I also feel like they're slowly having more fun with using the fourth wall break to take a dig at general Marvel
Yeah.
digs,
Yeah.
which I love as well.
The big one for me was in the car when she was on her way back to the prison.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And she goes, "Oh, I know you guys are excited for Twerking, just wait." But this isn't a cameo every week kind of show. And then she goes for the cameo. Then she shows the camera and is like, "But don't forget whose show this is." And then it runs credits.
Well, yeah, she's like, this isn't going to be a cameo every week. Oh, well, I suppose there is Bruce. Oh, and there is the Wong. And then there is Abomination.
Yeah.
But this is my show.
Yeah.
But also, can we just point out that
really
means
important.
Hulk? We are gonna see Hulk again. Because last week
we
we
had the Hulk cameo.
Yeah, but she said it's not going to be like a cameo every week. Oh wait, there is Hulk, which to me, well, yeah, but she's saying like they might reoccur more. Well, we were saying last week we won't see Hulk again.
Right at the very end, but I doubt it.
I think we might get another scene or phone call sort of thing.
We also got more of the lawyery side of the show.
Yes.
With the B story. So we met this particular ex-colleague in the first episode, and with very little screen time, we were all very easily able to go, okay, cool. So he's a douche. That's fine.
Yeah.
On with the story. And then he's obviously come in because he's been convinced he's dating Megan Thee Stallion. When in fact it's actually a light elf from New Asgard, and he thinks he's been defrauded out of a fuck ton of money. I really enjoyed that second story. All good sitcoms and any show that wants to be a comedy has to have multiple running narratives.
Yes.
And I think they did a really good job of it. It was funny. It was lighthearted. Because of the shape-shifting element of it, you kept, when someone was a little bit weird, you're like, is that the shapeshifter?
The other thing as well is like, it's a very common sitcom thing to have celebrity guests like show up in episodes. So to have Megan Thee Stallion show up is like a very sitcom thing to do in an episode, is to have like
I mean, celebrity. Yeah, let's also be clear, she's a fucking superstar.
Well, yeah. And like, I love that she is now canon law, that she exists.
Fuck yeah, she is.
Because who is the other music artist that was it 2 Chainz? No, it wasn't 2 Chainz, was it? It was
what, Hori? You're just asking me who it was, you're not telling me in what.
I can't remember what it was in, but in MCU law, like canon, there's another music artist that's been like, oh, they're canon.
Is that because like one of their songs was playing in the background?
Yeah, there was some mention of their song, and I can't remember who it is now. It'll come to me by the end of the episode. But it shows that they're like, I like that they keep adding in like general real world like pop culture references.
Yeah.
Making things like canon.
It's important. It be there. And don't get me wrong, it was an unnecessary cameo for sure.
Yeah, it was just because why not?
It adds a comedic effect to it.
Yeah. I also love go on.
When like the entire internet was very much all Green Hulk mummy strong, her twerking with Megan Thee Stallion at the end of the episode, it's right there for pick. It's easy pickings.
I can't. We'll get to that, but I can't believe
that.
But oh, my brain. Oh, I also love the fact that they're tying in New Asgard more.
Yes.
The fact that like, yes, New Asgard's there and the world knows it's there, and there's now weird races, like a light fairy is not abnormal anymore.
Exactly.
Like, no one gave a shit about the fact that it was a light fairy. It's like, just norm. Just the norm.
Also, I've realised we forgot to mention this last week. So, last week we spoke about the news article talking about the statue hand coming out of the Indian Ocean.
Yes.
You hadn't noticed that. I had noticed it. but I fucking missed the Wolverine reference.
I then know. I looked at the thing
Yeah.
you sent me, and I was like, "Wait, Wolverine's also confirmed." And you're
Yeah.
like, "Huh?"
I literally read that one bit and didn't look at the other bit at all, like a dumbass. So yeah, Wolverine has been like teased as existing in the MCU, which is cool. You guys probably already knew that if you're listening to a podcast like this, but I wanted you guys to know that we know.
We know that you know that we know.
Exactly.
A Wolverine knows.
Anyway,
but yeah, the
so
whole like in the courtroom thing. There was one thing in regards to like those scenes when they're doing all the lawyery stuff is when she walks in as She-Hulk with her suit on into her office. And this is probably the artist in me, and I don't think that the CGI is bad. There was just like something slightly off about it with a Hulk in a full suit just looked off.
do you know what I did notice? In the scene before that, when she was at the prison, not in She-Hulk form, the suit was too big for her. So they did take that into account.
Okay.
So if you actually go, because I remember saying, I was like, that suit looks really big on her. And then you have her going into the office and she's obviously in She-Hulk form.
Yeah,
and the
she's in the
suit fits
prison.
properly.
She has to drop her form, doesn't she?
Yeah. So I did like they cared enough to remember to put her in like a suit that was oversized.
It was something about the way that she walked in. When watching the episode, I went, "Oh, that looked a bit off." Yeah. But that's just my artistic brain picking up on those things. I think overall, I saw a lot of people ragging on it more so than they needed to, and being like, "Someone get Disney the correct budget they need." Blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's a TV show. The CGI is not going to be film level. Also, it's not that bad. Like, yes, it looks a little off in places, but you're working with a big green woman in a full-on three-piece suit. Like, it's going to look weird. Like, there's no way around it.
Exactly. There is no way around it. It's just the way it is. Overall, I think that's been handled pretty damn well.
Yeah. I think all of Wong's parts were great. I loved Wong in it.
Wong and Benedict Wong, the actor, has such a natural comedic timing.
Yes.
So in this show, which is obviously supposed to be more funny, they really hammed up Wong being like this ancient one who doesn't really understand the world too much. but like after he's admitted to committing a crime, and they're like, "You realise you committed a crime, right?" He's like, "I must go," and it's like he knows enough.
Can we also talk about the fact that although he's the Sorcerer Supreme and he's doing all this weird ancient magic stuff, he still was contacted through a thirst trap DM that her assistant sent. Like, Wong, what are you doing?
We do not judge our boy Wong.
Apparently, being Sorcerer Supreme means you check your DMs.
I also enjoyed I enjoyed the tongue-in-cheek reference to a memory wipe spell.
Yes, that was hilarious. I love that. He was like, "No, I can't wipe that memory.
I'm not doing it. It gets messy."
And she's like, "I wasn't asking you to." Oh, well, good, because it's a very messy situation to handle, which shows the like. Because he's talked about when they've done it for the parties and stuff in the past, and probably also now referencing Spider-Man.
What else was there?
There was just the way that he like always arrived was.
Yeah, he had another really funny moment, didn't he?
Not
that it matters. Anyway, I really enjoyed the lawyery aspects of the probation hearing as well.
Yes.
I know some people don't like the redesign of Abomination. It is more comic accurate.
I was gonna say, isn't it more comic accurate now?
With like the fins on
fins.
the ears and stuff like that, and the color, it's a lot more comic accurate. Yes, the voice is a little off, but I put that down to Emil being in control.
Yeah, he's more just speaking in his normal voice.
Yeah, he's just it's exactly that. Yeah, he's this big hulking monster, but he's like, "Hi, I'm Emil."
Yeah.
Do you know what? As Abomination, he has real Thor.
Huh?
The Rock. guy.
Oh, Korg.
Names escape. Korg, thank you. Jesus Christ, my mind was going so blank. Yeah, he had proper Korg vibes. He was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Hi, I'm Emil. I'm no longer a threat to society."
Yeah, it was. I also love the fact that in very lawyer, like, as a lawyer, terrible thing for your client to do is to turn into the thing that the
But you can also
they're
see
scared of.
why he did it.
But yeah, you're like, of course he would. To him, he's like, well, I can show you that I'm in control of it.
Yeah, I'm
And
going to
everyone's
quickly
just
turn.
freaking out non-stop. Like, no one stopped screaming, and it's just like he's in a cell, not doing it. You are all clearly overreacting. And then he just like I loved the way he took off his Crocs and then he did it, and then he bends down to pick up his tiny little Crocs, and you see like all his ripped clothes on the floor, and then he just puts them back ready for when he turns back.
Yeah.
And then grabs the
very
towel
much
and goes.
enjoyed that as well.
It's like someone needs to. I think Crocs need to get some Hulk-sized Crocs made for him.
I also enjoyed the meeting of his 7 soulmates. All
Yes.
of them in like proper culty dresses. And did you notice when he turned into a abomination, it cut back to them and they were like fanning themselves like.
Yeah, I'll be honest. In that second episode or whatever, when she met him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I've got benefit." He's got like people that were gonna pay for his land and stuff. In my head, we discussed like, is that the 10 rings? Is this like the
evil
government
organizations?
Yeah, like what is it? I'm gonna be honest, wasn't expecting it to be
actually 7 soulmates.
Actual 7 wives or whatever.
Also, shout out Disney for polyamory being
too woke.
There you go for the anti-woke brigade. Look at all of this needlessness.
I still don't trust him.
You know what it is, and I completely get why you don't trust him, and we probably shouldn't trust him, but I want to trust him.
Yeah, I like.
Which to be fair is probably perfect.
Yeah.
The wanting to trust him to then be betrayed would give the biggest emotional like reaction. So it's probably exactly what they want.
It's the thing of like, I don't trust him, and I'd be perfectly okay if the show proves me wrong. And it's like, I'm expecting him to do something bad, and then he just never does. It's like, oh.
But you'd be very happy if he ends up actually turning himself around.
And then it's like, the payoff, the other way though, is like, they want you to trust him so that if he does do something bad, or maybe they're playing the long game, maybe it is going to end and he doesn't do anything. You're like, oh, he has changed. And then a film down the line, he crops up again and he's evil, and you're like, oh, damn it, I got cheat. Like,
well, one thing to note is he's told he's not allowed to transform.
Yes, and he's got to wear an inhibitor.
Yeah, but the guys who attacked Jen at the end were trying to get a blood sample.
They were.
They might attack him for a blood sample and he won't change because he's not allowed to.
Oh, well, he won't be able to change. Is the thing, because he's got to wear. I think there was that moment, wasn't there, where she came up with the idea, obviously, that he could wear an inhibitor, and then she can prove that he won't change. So he's obviously gonna have to wear one of them, and I think you're right. Like that could come back, and that's going to cause an issue. Because he'll.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, obviously, whoever sent them, based on what they said about the boss isn't going to be happy, is going to be the overarching bad guy.
Yes.
I remember what the other ones I liked was when she was leaving prison. She got asked if her getting her powers was related to a mob hit, which was a reference to how she got her powers in the comics.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't pick up on it as a reference to the comics.
So in the comics, she had the blood transfusion after the mob tried to kill her because of her work in a case.
Yes, now I remember.
So I love that reference. That was a very good reference.
I also love the reporter stuff. It was like, exactly, it was what reporters do. It's like, they shout a question, didn't get an answer. Well, you've heard it here first. It's like they've just answered and said, yes, that is the case. Like, typical.
She-Hulk has not She-Hulk has not categorically stated she is not a Nazi. And it's like, that doesn't mean she is.
I like as well that she went on the news, was trying to answer lawyer questions, and then he was like, after this break, we'll go through her fitness and diet. And it's like,
I love the little before it cut away. They're just wait, what?
yeah, and she's like,
It really tickled me. I'm really enjoying it. Don't get me wrong, comedy's very subjective. It might not be your style of comedy. People in our comments at me and Harry have already laughed at you, so we're not going to give too much airtime here. Making like, if you've got a valid criticism, 100% let us know in the comments, and we'll discuss it. If you just sit there and go She-Hulk bad, that's
like,
that's not even like an opinion. That's just She-Hulk bad. So it shows that you lack any kind of constructive
you have
or
nothing
critical
inside
thinking.
your head.
Yeah. And just like sitting here going, She-Hulk good is the exact same. Blindly liking or disliking something without backing it up is pointless. So we're not going to engage with you. Other than telling you you're a fucking idiot.
What else? Oh, there was the fact that when those 4 guys jumped her, I was like, these are really weird, like, items that I was like, you could see that they were like energized. I was like, are these gonna actually do something to her and she's not ready for it? And then when she goes, have you just robbed an Asgardian builder? And they're like, yeah.
You know what? I actually said that and I re-looked what they were holding. I was like, holy shit, that's brilliant.
As soon as like I saw the crowbar, which is what I was like, that's weird. Like weird choice of like powered weaponry.
Yeah.
But then she says that and you see one of them's like they show the hard hat. And I'm like, oh wait, that's a hard hat. And that's the only one that was kind of like was like a mace, like it's like what's that? It's like a mini wrecking ball. Yeah. And then they did nothing to her. And it was just
it was when they grabbed her and she started panicking, screaming, and then she went, oh wait, and then she transformed.
It just turned into Hulk.
It's funny.
It's instant regret from them as well.
It's similar to a bit in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he's asking him to help tighten something, and he does it with the wrench, and he's like, "Why didn't you just use your fucking super strong metal arm?" He's like, I'm right-handed, so sometimes I forget.
Yeah,
it's that, like assuming people have superpowers are always going to remember they have them, especially when it's still quite fresh. Is silly.
Exactly. Also, they're just the instant regret from those guys when they're like, "Oh, we're not winning this."
We are not being paid enough for this. We are not well trained enough for this.
Interested to know who their boss is.
So this brings me to my criticism.
Oh.
We are through 3 episodes. We are 1/3 of the way through the show. We have zero idea about the overarching story.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the little bit about, oh, the boss is going to be angry, blah, 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 showing that there definitely is an overarching story, I wouldn't have actually minded. I'd have been like, okay, maybe it's just like a little bit of a week-to-week following and around in the early days of being a superhero, which would have been fine. But there clearly is an overarching story, and now they've wasted 3 weeks not really taking us anywhere. Which means I'm worried they are going to once again be rushing towards the end.
It depends on like it depends on who is the overarching and what they're trying to set up with the show, right? Because I don't know if this is necessarily going to be like ends in a big fight against some like main boss person. It could be leaning on like what you were saying last week that I hadn't considered, is like the whole Thunderbolts and building that. Their boss could be what's the woman's name? Valentina. It could be her, and this could be all leading up to the end of it. Is like Abomination ends up like joining them by like is forced into having to join them, or something else like leads to that.
So what I will say to that, in the teaser that went out for episode 2, we saw She-Hulk in like more of a costume, the purple singlet, and Daredevil in a basement somewhere. I have a feeling they're going to be working together to work out why people are trying to attempt to recreate their powers.
Maybe.
I am also not completely convinced that the Department of Damage Control doesn't have something to do with it.
Agreed.
We saw them going after Kamala.
Yeah.
And they've already kind of been in this with the prison.
I'm wondering if
I'm
there's a bit
watching you.
I wonder if the Daredevil thing's gonna come in with the fact that Bruce is gone. There isn't really like she hasn't got anyone to go to train her more. Like
Does anyone know he's gone though?
no, but she knows he's gone, obviously.
I don't think she does.
Yeah, because didn't he say he's not in the lab? I'm
That's all
sure.
he said.
Well, yeah,
He didn't say, "Oh, I fucked off to space."
All right, but there's probably like she knows he's got off somewhere.
Mm.
And she'll probably, if she tries to contact him, find she can't get hold of him. I'm wondering if there's whatever fight does come, because there's going to be some sort of a fight. She needs some training, and then that's why she's in a basement with Daredevil. Like maybe he's helping train her a bit at fighting to improve. Like, because she's Hulk, but she hasn't fought.
No,
like,
she, as far as we know, she doesn't have any kind of
fighting experience.
No.
So maybe that's why they end up working together.
They're also going to have to explain why New York Hell's Kitchen based Daredevil's in LA.
Yeah. Maybe he is hunting down someone.
I really hope it's something really nerdy like Lawyer Con.
I was going to say some lawyer. He's there for a case.
No, that's not nerdy enough. I really like the idea of him flying out to LA for Lawyer Con. Come and meet She-Hulk, our most famous lawyer.
Oh no, imagine.
He rocks up, asks her some questions while listening to her heartbeat to work out if she could be trusted. I don't know.
Yeah, unless she's gonna end up
in New York.
And then because she's in New York, he's like, why the goes to find her, it's like, why the fuck are you on my territory? Sort of thing.
Last time we had big green people in New York, shit went wrong.
Yeah. So that could be why we see them meet up.
Yeah.
She ends up in New York for something.
We'll have to keep an eye out.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited for my red and yellow boy to turn up.
I think next week's episode is going to clear up what the fuck the main... Because I think what we're going to get is Abomination will be let out.
The ball really needs to get rolling.
He'll be let out, and I think they'll set up who's the actual issue. They'll either make themselves known, or we'll get to know at least from the viewer side of things. But yeah, what that'll be episode 4, and is it 9 episodes in total?
9 episodes.
So, yeah, I think it needs to kind of happen next week, and we find out who this boss is. I wonder if it's the power broker.
It's very possible. With what we can only assume is them trying to steal a blood sample so they can recreate her powers.
Mm-hmm.
The power broker would make a lot of sense.
Considering she was interested in this super serum, and isn't Hulk's thing kind of made from an attempt of remaking the super serum?
I don't know what the rules are in the MCU. I know Blonsky's was the super soldier serum reacting with Bruce's blood.
Okay, so it was like a weird mix they made. So that could be why the power broker might be interested.
Very possible. But I think that kind of wraps up everything we've got to say about episode 3, unless you've got any final comments.
I think the only thing is the post-credit scene.
She-Hulk kind of thick, though.
She-Hulk can shake it, and I wish I could have been in the visual effects office when
they were given that scene.
Marvel gave them that scene, and they had to give it to the visual effects artists and gone, right, who wants...
Here is Megan Thee Stallion twerking in an office. We also need She-Hulk in a suit twerking with her.
Yeah, they're like, who wants this scene? And they explain it, and it's just like, some visual effects artist had to sit there for however long that took him, which probably was a while, him or her. They had to...
him that wanted that project, come on.
Not necessarily. They had to sit there for several days or weeks producing a She-Hulk twerk. And I just love the thought of them going, like, not being able to tell anybody, like, because they can't tell people, they're signed NDAs, they're not allowed to tell anyone what they're working on. Like, going home, knowing what you're producing, but you can't tell anyone. Like, I just can't believe they actually gave us that.
It's brilliant. I love that Marvel's not taking itself too seriously. I think it's realised the genuine fans are going to be fair when they evaluate stuff, and the other people don't matter to Marvel. They're like, we'll make jokes at them. They'll like what they like. We're still going to make money. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait for that to be a meme.
Continue with that. Oh, it's good. And you know what? Whether people like it or not, it was fucking funny.
Yeah, I started laughing when that started happening, and the way that her boss walked up and went, "Huh," and then just walked off.
I don't even think the funniest bit was when she stopped twerking. She stood up really straight and said, "I will kill for you, Megan Thee Stallion."
Yeah, and then Megan, just dial it back a bit. Okay,
yeah.
You're a lawyer.
It is.
Yeah, she went full fan mode.
Yeah. Anyway, in about 3 hours from now, we will be getting the first. You said 2 a.m. Oh, I can't do maths. 5 hours.
That's why I was like, I like how you doubled down on that.
Yeah.
I was like,
No, I wasn't doubling down just to be clear. I was like, I thought you said 2 a.m. and then my brain was like, Connor, 3 hours from 9 o'clock is not 2 a.m.
Exactly. You like double down on your
5 hours from now,
yes.
in our world, in your world, it's already open. Oh, already here.
Yeah.
We're getting the first episode of Lord of the Rings.
First 2 episodes.
Which means next week gonna be a thick boy.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot to talk about with 2 episodes now.
Yeah, we're gonna have 2 hour long Lord of the Rings episodes and a half-hour She-Hulk.
Plus any D23 news?
We won't have any of that by then.
Oh no, it starts
D23
just after,
starts
right?
next Friday.
Yeah, so it's after we. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean
there's going to be rumors.
We're not dropping below half for the next month or so, guys. Just accept it.
Yeah, this podcast is going to be eating good. But yeah, 5 hours we get Lord of the Rings. I said it.
Episodes.
Already said it. I'm so ready for you haters. Like, I know there's people ready to just hate on it before it's even come out. I don't give a shit. I'm going to enjoy the shit out of this show. My plan to rewatch Lord of the Rings before this came out hasn't happened, so oh well.
Yeah, it's completely fallen to shit. But as we already discussed at the beginning of the podcast, we're busy guys. We do have a lot going on.
Yeah, it's
and Lord of the Rings isn't an easy thing to just squeeze in.
No, it's
especially if it not being on any streaming services.
Yeah, and we have to watch the extended.
Yeah, of course. You mean some people watch the shorter, shittier version?
I bet some people do because they haven't rebought it to get like the extended cuts.
Yeah, do you know what it is? Lord of the Rings is the only series where I'm like, no, you must watch the extended cut.
The thing is now
everything
it's like
else I'm like,
if you put out Lord of the Rings and it wasn't the extended cut, I'd be like, this still exists
severely.
Like,
yeah.
You can buy this still.
The consensus is because the extended cut is like so much longer. Each of the extended cuts like an extra hour long, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, and we already discussed last week with the screen time debacle how much you can do with 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So an extra 3 hours across these already quite long films adds so much.
Oh, it really did.
And in reality, if that extended cut, like the equivalent, was to come out now, I'd be like, why wasn't that just the original cut? It's so much better.
Oh, it would just be
the extra hour flies by. Just fucking re-release. Make that one the theatrical. Bin off the other one. Release that as the Express edition.
Do you know what's funny though? And like this is a bit of a throwback of stuff, but some people might not know this, the younger viewers. When Lord of the Rings was in deals to be made and Peter Jackson was going through all that, the original deal was to be 2 films for 3 books. And Peter Jackson knew what he wanted to make was not going to fit into 2 films. But he was like, yeah, sure. And I think he'd already planned. Well, the thing was, which this just doesn't happen really anymore, is they wrote, filmed, produced all 3 films in one go Like, it wasn't they did the first film, then it came out and they started the second one. Like, they just did it in one big fucking chunk. So, like, he knew this is everything I want to do. And when it came to production and chopping it up, and he was like,
You
yeah, this
just
isn't
chopped it
this.
up into 3 films.
He's like,
instead.
look, this isn't going to fit in 2 films. We need 3. And then that
The
was
good news
before
is you
the.
don't have to spend any more money to make this into 3 films.
Exactly. And then that was before the extended cuts. So it's like, he had so much footage that he was like, really having to squeeze this into 3 films. You know what? We'll release
But in
extended.
reality, now if they had that much footage, it'd be like, okay, so we're going to make it a 12-series TV show.
Well, no, the thing is, they would have just released it as 3 films, but as the extended would just be the release. And there would be no such thing as an extended cut. But, yeah, wild.
I'm excited. I don't know a lot about the Lord of the Rings lore. I'm going to put my foot in my mouth constantly when discussing the show. Hori's going to have to correct me on stuff.
I will do my best. I'm no expert, but like, I do love Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings is nerd culture at its highest order. I'm excited for this show. Me and Hori are both going to be watching it. It makes sense for us to just talk about it. I'm fully going into this just going, okay, entertain me.
And
you're not going to see critical breakdowns from me talking about this, that, and the other. A lot of it is going to be me going, I liked
nice.
it.
Yeah.
The elves had pointy ears. It was cool. And then Hori can do the extensive breakdown.
Yeah, I'll be doing my best.
Did you notice this?
to pick up on any Easter eggs and stuff that lead to the films we know and all that. And it's going to be interesting because, like, I've said it before, like, this is the first thing since The Hobbit. The Hobbit was a while ago. And, like, this is the first thing that explores more. Like, The Hobbit lent into what we already knew of Lord of the Rings. It was kind of like, this is still the same. It's all connected. Like, we know what's going on. We know what sort of to expect the outcome to be.
The last Hobbit film was 2014.
Okay, 8 years.
8 years.
So it's been 8 years since we've been in the world of Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth.
Mm-hmm. Did Peter Jackson have anything to do with this show?
This show, I don't think so. Let me have a quick look.
I've googled it. I'm not seeing anything.
I have a sense that he said at the end of The Hobbit he didn't really want to touch Lord of the Rings again because he'd done 6 films with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing anything about him being remotely involved.
I think there was talk of how much they would connect the show to his films. But I don't know that it was exclusively said how well it'll be connected. But yeah, so it's been 8 years. This is the first time we're kind of getting still connected to the original Lord of the Rings films, but it's far enough away that, like, there's a lot of freedom for them to do what they want with it. Obviously, there's the books, and I think whatever.
I mean, fans have already decided they've broken laws, so just do whatever they want at this point.
Yeah, but it's like, people need to understand, when films are made from books, you can't get picky about it being 100% accurate to the books, because books do not always transfer well into films. Like, certain scenes or ways books describe or do things doesn't always work in films. So there often has to be some alterations. People need to be okay with that. People need to give the show a chance, because I've said it before, if people hate on this far too much, and like people that call themselves fans of Lord of the Rings hate on this, but they want more Lord of the Rings stuff, you're just shooting yourself in the foot, because you'll ruin it for everyone.
I mean, you've also got to remember the original books are like, Hobbit came out 37, and then like Lord of the Rings was like in the 50s.
So
that's a long time since the books came out. It's at the point now where a little bit of that control's got to be relinquished and given to people to be able to creatively have fun with.
Yeah, and it's just like, yes, there is Tolkien fleshed out a lot of his world like way more than a lot of probably writers do, and he put that time in, and it's amazing the level of detail that he went into with it all. But at the same time, there's still like stuff that can be like, you can alter stuff and still stay true to the books.
Exactly.
Like, people just need to be a bit more chilled. I think my worry is that the Tolkien estate that managed what allow things to be turned into films and still have the rights, like, they for a long time after The Hobbit weren't willing to let anyone do anything. Amazon's been able to, don't ruin this for future stuff, because this goes well, we get a lot of the wider Lord of the Rings books and stuff are going to get turned into shows or films, probably through Amazon if they do well. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm probably going to watch this tonight as it comes out because my sleep pattern's terrible and I'll be awake anyway. So
I honestly don't know when I'm going to get a chance to watch it. It will probably be Tuesday next week.
First thing in the morning, while you're at work, just I don't know, put it on a monitor or something. Hide in a cupboard and watch it.
Hide in a cupboard for what, like 4 hours?
No one will notice you're gone, right? Surely.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
But yeah, looking forward to it. As we I know a lot of people or a lot of news things are focused on the fact that it had the biggest ever budget of a TV show. It's got all these VFX. I guess proof will be in the pudding. We'll see what it's like when in 5 hours. Mm-hmm. You might be waking up to a bunch of messages off me going, "Holy shit, this is the best thing I've ever watched," or "Oh no,
abandoned ship, we're not watching it."
Abandoned ship, it's all gone wrong.
We just come in next week and we're like, "We're sorry for being excited about Ring of Powers. We were wrong."
Yeah.
Okay, I'm changing the running order because I've realised the thing that was next shouldn't be next. It should be nearer the end.
Yeah. One thing I touched on it last week, and I know we're not going to deep dive it, but House of the Dragons.
House of the Dragon.
I'm really enjoying it. Episode 2 was great in my opinion. We got 2 CGI dragons at the same time because obviously I mentioned that there was going to be 10.
You mean they've already burnt 2 of their 10? Oh my god, that's only 8 CGI dragons left.
Do you know what's funny? We'd already seen these 2, but it was the first time we got them in one scene together. To be fair, the scene which
I've got something I have to ask.
Go on.
Because I spend so much time on the internet, stuff still gets to me. Not gets to me like I see information. Yeah. Apparently, there's something that happens that's particularly disturbing.
I mean, episode 1 had something that was pretty disturbing, which was essentially a C-section birth, but without modern medicine.
But I thought there was something about an inappropriate relationship or something. I don't really know.
Oh no, I didn't. In many medieval worlds, people marry off their daughters, and in fantasy and medieval films and books and the real world back in the day, there is a king without a queen is a bad thing, so he needs to remarry. Obviously, people close to the king want to cement relationships through marriage, as is the classical thing to do. And yes, there was a scene where one family was trying to marry off their 14-year-old daughter to a very old king. Yeah. But I think...
This is why no one likes fantasy book fans.
The thing is, though,
you'll just sit here and watch this shit, and you're just oh, it's fine. It was centuries ago.
So that's not. So the thing is, it was, to me, it was done on purpose, and it got the reaction that the George R.R. wanted and that the show writers wanted, which was everyone felt uncomfortable when you see this daughter for the first time and you realize, oh, this is a child.
Did they get an actress who looks proper young as well? Did they legit like get like a 14-year-old
Yeah,
actress?
literally look like no. And all it is he's walking along with her in a garden, and it looks like a dad and a daughter, and you can even tell, like, the way it's written is like, even the, I don't know the actor who plays the king, but even the king is like giving off this, like, he feels uncomfortable about the idea. Like, this is not, he's lost his wife, like, he understands he needs to remarry, but the idea of remarrying to like a child, just, you can tell the way he's acting, like it's meant to be, he feels uncomfortable and they want the viewers to feel uncomfortable. And in the end, he doesn't pick her, he picks someone else, another, this the Han's daughter, who I think is like 18, or yeah, I think something, I don't know, she's a bit older, a little bit more reasonable, but her actress doesn't look like a child, but yeah, like, it was a very, Game of Thrones does this though, like that, George R.R. has always, like, look at the Red Wedding, that was talked about with how brutal it was.
My man's just said the Red Wedding, like, I've watched or read.
Surely you heard about the Red Wedding, which was,
I mean, I did, but...
Well, there you go. That's why I mentioned it, because I knew you would have heard of it. But yeah, like, it was one of those scenes where, like, you can clearly tell show writers wanted you to feel just as uncomfortable as you're meant to. And in my eyes, that's a success from the show's point of view.
Yeah, like, all I saw was Twitter going, this is fucking weird, what's happening?
Well, it's Game of Thrones.
Okay, so that makes sense.
It's medieval, it's like got some weird, controversial stuff. But there was a very cool scene with both dragons, which had me super hyped.
The rest of the internet, oh my god, why is that king being a nonce? Sorry, look at the CGI dragons, that's 2 of them, yeah!
Do you know what it is? It's literally, fans of the show, it was like, one group are like, yeah, this was a bit weird and Game of Thronesy, and then the other half are like, yeah, dragons, because it was so cool. But overall, show's great. That's as much as we'll kind of go into it, because I know Connor doesn't watch it.
Okay, so D23 starts next Friday.
Yes, as we mentioned earlier.
Normally we would probably have covered this next week, but as we've already said, next week is going to be a big Bumper Boy episode.
I'm sure we will still end up covering some of this.
Of course we will, because there'll be rumours in this week that we need to address.
Mm-hmm.
But we kind of want to get this kind of thing out of the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of our predictions for D23, which are going to be more Marvel focused, naturally.
Well, yeah.
And then we're going to make some outlandish last minute pleas to Disney. Like, announce a Miles Morales solo film, announce that you've bought the Spider-Man rights back from Sony, etc., etc.
Things that we would love, but we are expecting to be highly unlikely to happen.
Like, 1%'s probably generous.
Yeah.
Would you like to start with your predictions, Mr. Zonzo?
Sure. Now, you mentioned this would be more Marvel focused. There'll also be Star Wars stuff, so I'll obviously include...
I didn't think of any of that, long. Okay.
I'll include some of my thoughts for that. But I think predictions-wise, I'm fully expecting us to get the Fantastic Four cast announced in full or be there. Like, either they get announced or they are on stage and they do it that way. I don't think we get any, like, there's going to be no trailer or anything, like, filming hasn't begun, but I think the main forecast will get announced. I think that'll be their big finale thing of the Marvel section. And then I think it's going to be to me, my prediction is maybe more show heavy announcements, because it's Disney's own thing and obviously Disney Plus. But I think there'll also be some more Phase 6 stuff. I'm going to predict we get some sort of X-Men announcement, whether it is a Hugh Jackman rocks up as Wolverine, and they confirm Wolverine is in the MCU, properly, as well. Obviously, we've had the little teaser in She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Or they're going to be like, boom, we're getting this X-Men characters getting their own film, or boom, we're getting a X-Men team-up film. It's new, and say whether it's new faces, old faces, or how they're going to do it. Because if they're doing old faces, it obviously changes things, and if it's new faces, they can do what they want. What else do I think might occur? I'll save the Star Wars stuff after your. But I'm trying to think, other than like announcing season 2s of shows, maybe, like Miss Marvel season 2, or I don't know, She-Hulk season 2. Maybe they've already decided. I don't know if they might show another Ant-Man teaser or another Guardians teaser, little like thing like they did at Comic-Con, or they might just show the same ones and actually properly release them. Because obviously they've been surprisingly not too widely leaked.
There was the one really horrific angle of Kang saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're an Avenger. I killed you before." But
They've-
other than that, no. There's not been any good leaks.
No, so I wonder if they
Leakers were slacking.
actually like released that little footage stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's all my predictions.
Okay, so I am, along with you, almost certain that we're going to get Fantastic Forecast.
Yep.
I think all of the other Phase 6 projects, other than maybe one, are going to be announced.
Oh.
I think we're going to get a full trailer for Ant-Man and maybe even Secret Invasion.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about actually getting trailers.
Yeah, no, I think we'll get a trailer for Ant-Man being after Black Panther, the next thing up. Maybe we get a second Black Panther trailer.
Oh yeah, we might.
I agree. There's going to be emphasis put on whatever, because I mean I've already been very clear. I am adamant that some of these untitled projects are going to be mutant projects.
Yep.
I won't be surprised if, along with an announcement of them projects, when one of the mutant projects gets announced, we get introduced maybe a member of the cast from that, or the writer or something.
Yeah, or director or something.
Yeah, something like that. That's going to give us a better idea of maybe what we can expect.
Yeah.
Star Wars wise, although I hadn't really considered it before right now, they are working on a new trilogy, aren't they? They've said there will be another trilogy. It will move on from the Skywalker saga, but there's going to be another trilogy. So maybe they confirm that that's in preparation.
Yeah.
As well as probably a couple more Mandalorian time period TV shows being confirmed. Like, is Mandalorian getting a season 4? I assume so.
Yes.
Maybe that gets
season
announced
3?
with a date.
Season 4.
Season 4. Maybe that gets announced with a date.
Yeah. I think there has been talks about trilogy and the fact that future trilogy will probably be away from Skywalker. Where you might be right. That might get confirmed that there is plans to spread further than the Skywalker trilogy moving forward.
We have officially started writing the next trilogy in the Star Wars saga.
Yeah. That's, I think, a loose maybe won't happen. I fully expect us to get maybe a final trailer for Andor.
Yeah.
I think we might get our first trailer for Ahsoka and that TV show, because we haven't really had anything else on that.
It's a really good fucking point, actually. We've heard basically nothing about Ahsoka.
About the show...
They confirmed a butt ton of Star Wars content for Disney Plus like a year and a half ago, and we've not really heard anything more about any of it.
Well, at the Star Wars celebration that was a few months back now, there was a lot of cast people got announced. So we know some of the
a fuck ton of trailers.
So we know some of the cast for Ahsoka because it's taking characters from Star Wars Rebels. So I'm hoping we maybe get a trailer for that. and we find out more so. Like we know that Ahsoka's set after Rebels and in that like period of time, similar to what Kenobi is set in and Mandalorian set in, like that Mandalorian period or whatever. So we know where like it's that time period. We just haven't had anything. So I'm thinking a trailer for that. Like you said, Mandalorian, I think we'll get some details on like timeline. Maybe we'll get like a rough release year or like what quarter of a year or something it is in.
Probably get a roadmap for Disney Plus full stop for the next 12 months.
Yeah, probably. And I think that'll include what Star Wars shows and stuff are coming.
So that will have Marvel stuff in it, Disney stuff in it, other stuff that's neither of them, but it's going to be on Disney Plus. They're going to go, this is the next year. This is when stuff we're aiming to have it released. This is how many episodes stuff's going to have.
Yeah, I think we'll get something like that.
So by that logic, that will include Secret Invasion, Echo, Loki, Ironheart.
Yep.
And maybe Coven of Chaos as well. Agatha.
Oh yeah. Plus Star Wars
and maybe closer to firmed updates about when that's going to come out, because all of the films in
have
Phase 5 have dates.
Yeah.
Them dates will change, but they have dates.
Yeah.
The TV shows, other than none of the TV shows have dates. So yeah, we'll probably get a roadmap of Disney Plus for the next year that gives us dates.
So yeah, I think that's probably. I don't know how much. I don't think we'll get much more on Star Wars than that, because we had this Star Wars celebration. That's when they did most of their like.
Yeah, Star Wars is so big it gets its own kind of separate announcements.
I think in general hopes and 1% chances for D23.
Oh, we're moving on to our hopes and prayers and throw
I think
it out
so.
to the universe. Okay, let's do this.
On Star Wars side, like I'd love for them.
Wish list Santa Claus.
I think Star Wars kind of touched it as like a maybe will happen, but I think it's more of a hope. Is like they say, oh yeah, here's a new trilogy. This is the period it's set in. It's in writing, but we've decided.
Here's the title for the first one.
Yeah, we've decided where it exists in the Star Wars universe. I don't think they'll do that, but maybe they will, and maybe they'll go, and this is the director or something. Other than that, for Star Wars, I don't think we really get any crazy announcements. There's a lot kind of already going on a bit at the moment.
I have one big hope for Star Wars.
Oh.
We get some fun news about Fallen Order 2.
Oh yeah, because there's the whole gaming side of things.
The Friday is game centered. I have no genuine predictions for that. I've not even got a clue if anything Star Wars or Marvel related is going to even be connected to that.
I wouldn't. If there's a gaming section, it might have Fallen Order 2, and I think it'll be maybe the Wolverine game. So we haven't really seen anything on that.
Yeah. So this is where we get into like really, and this is why these are hopes, because it's techie.
Yeah.
When you've got these many multi-billion-dollar companies involved, EA, who are making, or it's Respawn, but Respawn are owned by EA, who are making Fallen Order, are likely to take up Disney on free publicity.
Yes.
Sony, who own Insomniac, who are making Wolverine and Spider-Man 2, are less likely to take up that free publicity because they like it all being about them. So they're more likely to wait for something that's a little bit smaller but more gaming focused, where they can literally be the only thing that's being talked about.
Yes, generally.
I mean, Sony has their PlayStation showcases like every 3 months, don't they?
So here's my thing on the potential Wolverine game, and because it's Sony sided.
Sorry, 1 second. Apparently, the next showcase is in September of this year.
Oh, Sony's.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if, because Sony, yes, they prefer things to be about themselves, but they're also the sort of people to go, oh, Disney wants to advertise our thing. Yeah, sure. We'll capitalize off them making us money. Maybe they'll show us a new teaser for their Wolverine game, and they save the juicy stuff for their own.
Maybe. Yeah, I suppose they could get away with just doing a trailer and then doing like a more of a deep dive at their own thing.
Yeah, more to come at Sony's showcase, and they plug their own showcase at.
No, I could see that. One thing, although this is going in the hopes, it's actually a hope not.
Oh.
I pray to fucking God that the rumors about Ubisoft making a Blade game get debunked.
Yeah, hopefully.
Or at the very least, don't get confirmed.
Yeah.
I love Blade. As a character, he is perfect for a video game. Do not let Ubisoft fucking touch it. And they've made some of my favourite games. The Watch Dogs games are some of my favourite. Leave Blade the fuck alone.
Yeah, we'll leave that as a hope not.
Leave Britney alone. What
then
other hopes?
I think it's all like Marvel, right?
Yeah. I'm really hoping, similar to you, that we get a big Star Wars announcement that, like, not like a show date confirmed, like a genuine, like, boom, no one knew for certain this was coming. Here it is.
Yep.
I hope for Marvel we get like a trailer for something that's a bit further away, like a Guardians 3 trailer, or like our first look at Adam Warlock properly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I hope we get to meet a mutant cast member.
Yes.
Along with, I'm confident that a mutant project's going to get announced. I really would like it if alongside that we get our first 100% guaranteed, here is one of the actors playing a mutant. Even if they don't tell us what mutant it is, give us the actor and let us start guessing which mutant they're going to play. Because that'd be fun. But other than that, I don't think they could do too much more than what I'm kind of expecting, which makes me think I'm probably going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I feel like we got way more at San Diego than we kind of expected.
With how strict their time frame is,
they have a lot
for Phase 6. Like, I would imagine we're gonna get basically all of these untitled projects for Phase 6. I think we're gonna get basically all of their names. They might hold back one, just so they have an ace in the hole in case they're getting bad press or anything.
Yeah, or maybe they just keep the mutant. They're just like mutant project. They don't specify what it is. Maybe.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Maybe that's a fair way to say it. Maybe they won't give us too much information, but they'll let us know roughly what it's going to be.
Do you know what? This is like 0.1% chance of happening, but I would love it if they did it this way. Is if they were like, we have someone for a special announcement, and then Hugh Jackman walks on, and everyone goes fucking.
What, to introduce the new Wolverine?
To pass the torch to the new actor who's going to play Wolverine.
I would cry like a fucking baby if that's how they did it. It would be beautiful. And that would what it'd be. It'd be like, wow, that is gorgeous.
Because I feel like that is a way to close off Hugh Jackman's time as Wolverine without just being like, yeah, we've got a new person, and it's like no one talks about it anymore. And
also, the only way to get the fans to actually leave off whoever replaces him is for him to very publicly endorse them.
Yeah, exactly.
If he introduces the new person and goes, this guy's going to be great, I can't wait for you to see what he's going to bring to this character, people are going to be a lot nicer to the new actor.
That's if they're not going to try and come up with some like old Logan way of having Wolverine in which case they'll probably keep Hugh Jackman and just have him be old, but we'll see. I have a thought for a hope on Star Wars, and like this is a slim chance, and you said big project, and it gave me the idea. I would love if we got an announcement of a Mace Windu series that confirms all the fan like theories.
I love how unrelenting Star Wars fans are to admit that Mace Windu could be dead.
like people refuse to, and I would love if they were just like, you know what, we've seen you talk about this, and we know we've seen it all, the discussions and everything, and we just want to let you know you're all right.
You know what would be even
And
better almost? If they go, okay, we accept that we are really bad at protecting our own law, so now we're just sitting on Tumblr 24 hours a day using your head cannons. So if you don't like it, it's your own fault.
It's just that I don't think that happens, but I would love if they turned around and were like, you know what, you've all guessed it, and you know what, you're finally right. Mace Windu's alive.
You know what? That's reminded me of something that's a hope for me.
Oh.
It's not as ridiculous as some of the other ones. I would love it if they confirmed that they have now got the rights to Hulk back.
Oh.
The rumors surrounding the rights becoming Disney's again have been ramping up in the last couple of months.
Well, you know how they do that? They just say we're making a World War Hulk film.
Yeah. But if they go, Planet Hulk is on,
yeah,
World War Hulk is on, that would be very, very good indeed. The only reason they might not do it
is if it's
it might spoil the last episode's post-credit scene of She-Hulk.
True.
So they might hold off on it.
True. Yeah, that's a good point. They might not then.
Yeah. Because even if they announce that they now have exclusive rights to the Hulk again, instantly everyone will have mentally decided that it means we're getting World War Hulk or Planet Hulk.
Yeah, because Hulk's left.
Instantly, because the internet.
Yeah, true.
But I think that about wraps up our hopes for D23.
I'm
and
looking
now we're
forward.
on to our little news section.
Yes, not as much news.
There is one more on there that I forgot to put on there.
Oh, okay.
It's not big either, but just there's more than 2 items.
Okay.
So the No Way Home Extended Cut is out today as you guys are watching this.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's just for the weekend. If it is just for the weekend, I'm not going to be able to see it. I am chock-a-block busy. If it's on for a couple of weeks, I might be able to get out and see it.
Same. I haven't looked actually.
There's nothing really else to say about it other than that. If you do want to go see it though, this weekend is National Cinema Weekend, so a lot of cinemas are doing £3 tickets.
Oh.
So it could be dirt cheap for you to go see it.
Yeah.
So if you're I'd like to go see the extended cut, but I don't have £15 to spend on a cinema ticket, hopefully your local cinema is doing £3 tickets and you should be able to get in nice and cheap.
Yeah, if you're the sort of person that maybe is like, well, I watched the full one, I don't really want to pay again for just an extended cut. Yeah. I'm similar to you though. Don't know if I'll get out to it, but we'll
I want to try, but like we said, finding 2 hours to go and watch a film when you don't get to choose when the film starts is tricky at times.
Yes.
Especially when it's not we absolutely have to see it. Rumors of Moon Knight Season 2 entering develop are starting to get quite big.
Yeah, more than just them being spotted in.
Yeah. So everyone kind of accepted there had to be a second season, but there was no announcement. There still hasn't been an announcement. Then Oscar Isaac and the director were spotted in Egypt, and someone said, "What are you doing here?" And they were like, "What else would we be doing here?" And now apparently it's fully entered early stages of development.
Okay.
It's really weird to me it's not being announced. I think it's not being announced because actually it's not Moon Knight Season 2 and it's Midnight Suns.
Maybe. And maybe they're saving it for D23.
Also very possible.
Why I think maybe the rumours have ramped up more on that it's entered development? On the first episode of She-Hulk, on the title Marvel thing, there's no clip of Moon Knight in the Marvel title card, which there was in Miss Marvel. And then people were like, why have they removed Moon Knight from the title sequence? Are they axing Moon Knight? Do they not like Moon Knight anymore? Is it? And people were started getting, as the internet does, like, something's been removed. This means the end. It's over. My world is burning.
Spirals, yeah. The internet spirals worse than anyone you've ever met.
And it's like, so I think maybe that's why they've pushed out the rumors a bit and let things ramp up a bit, because they're they want to just chill the fans out.
Makes sense.
Yeah. What's your third? What's this news part that you've not put on?
Fantastic forecasting rumors.
Oh,
actual Pen Bagley from You is now Bookie's favourite to be confirmed as MCU's. No, legitimately, they take bets on this shit.
I know they do. I just love the term.
Is now the favourite to be confirmed as the main Reed Richards.
Oh.
So, like, and obviously, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Like I said with Wolverine before, there's 4 or 5 actors that just get rotated around who's about to be announced. It might not mean anything, but it's worth noting, especially with D23 around the corner.
Yeah. Anyone keeping an eye on his travels at the moment? Is he going to be anywhere near D20 where D23 is being held?
Where is D23 being held? Is it like Disneyland?
I have no idea. D23 location. Anaheim Convention Center in California.
Seems really weird that you wouldn't host it.
I mean, LA's like in
like one of the Disneylands or something.
Yeah, maybe they just didn't have a big enough venue. Because
Disneyland is bigger than some countries.
Yeah, but maybe they don't want to shut Disneyland to the general public, so they can host. That's what I'm like. Obviously, yes, you could just shut down Disneyland and host it inside Disneyland, but
or you just sell even more expensive tickets for that weekend because D23 is going on.
Possibly.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'll let them make business decisions about their business. Super Showdown, it's back. Woo!
The September Super Bracket. I don't know what we'll call it.
It's like March Madness, but superheroes.
Yeah.
And it's going to last a lot longer than September.
Yeah. I like that we've focused in on September when it starts, because I was like, oh yeah, September Superhero Showdown, and it's like, well, this is going to go on way longer than just September. We're
gonna get the first round of the first group done.
Nice.
That's it.
That's all going well and no issues with.
Yeah, assuming there's no delays or anything. So I don't even know if I've told Tori this yet. We're gonna do each group of 8 until there's one person left, and then move on to the next group.
Oh, we're gonna go like all the way through to winners final of that group.
Sorry, I'm just working out what you said. We're gonna make it so out of the 8 Marvel heroes, we're gonna get that down to the last one.
Yeah, so we end up with 4
at the semi-final stage.
Yeah.
And continue. The rules are for this one very similar to last time. Bloodlusted, nothing they don't normally have.
Mm-hmm.
And a neutral environment, unless stated otherwise, due to the advantage effect.
Yeah, if we feel like there's a very leaning seeding. So
the way that we've done the bracket is we've got 8 Marvel heroes, 8 Marvel villains, 8 DC heroes, and 8 DC villains.
Mm-hmm.
They have all been put into a group, and they will fight internally until one remains, and then the 2 villains will fight, and the 2 remaining heroes will fight, and then we'll have a hero and a villain to fight at the end.
Yes.
Each group has been seeded from 1 to 8. 1 being the most powerful, in my opinion, at a glance, without researching too much. Because it's supposed to be a gut feeling seeding.
Yeah.
Number 1 gets put up against number 8, and it inverts like that slowly. The lower seed in each fight gets an advantage. The advantage is more powerful the more different the seeds are.
Yes.
So 1 to 8.
The 8 seeds
is going to have a pretty fucking strong advantage. So we'll do all of the Marvel group, all of the villain group, blah, 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 blah. And then once we're into semi-finals, the advantage rule goes out the window.
Yeah.
Because they've all won their group. They're on even footing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Agreed.
Very simple, very easy. We have already announced half the bracket. I'm going to leave the other half of the bracket a secret.
Oh.
You just have to wait and see who turns up each week.
Oh.
There's going to be some fights in here potentially where you don't know anyone in the fight until that week because of the way the seedings have come out. Deal with it.
You need to send me your final pick so I at least know.
Nope. Yes, I'll send you over the full seedings and everything. This week we have, I believe, 2 characters you knew that were here. No, one of these characters you didn't know was in the bracket. We have Beta Ray Bill.
My picks.
Yep. Beta Ray Bill versus Black Knight.
I have no idea which way these are seeded. I think I do, but
I mean, Beta Ray Bill is comparable to 4, therefore he is number 1.
Yeah.
Black Knight is purely number 8 because, like I said, I did no research for my seedings. Therefore,
in before he's like, fucking God, God tier.
Yeah,
we've just screwed the whole bracket.
Yeah.
This is a good point because if Black Knight is our 8th seed, I don't know what I'd like, and if we like, there's an environmental advantage.
I'm working on it, bro. I'm working on it.
Okay, good, because I have no clue.
In future weeks, I will work out the advantage beforehand. This week has been extra chalked. Powers and skills, intelligence, leadership, tactician. You know what? There's one really obvious buff here, but it's too OP. So the obvious buff was, at one point he was in contact with the Phoenix Force, but you can't be giving someone the Phoenix Force. That's fuck. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say yes, he's bloodlusted, but he retains his intelligence. So he's bloodlusted in the sense of he's out to kill, but he's not so bloodlusted that he's just running around like a dickhead.
Okay, there's one thing I'm reading here.
Okay.
He apparently once employed an atomic steed that usually is used by the high evolutionaries knights. Whether we want to give him a horse.
Steed. What, for movement?
Well, just someone. A knight on a horse is stronger than just a knight on his.
He can have both because Beta Ray Bill's pretty OP.
Okay, I don't even know what the atomic steed does.
I mean, it's a horse that sounds pretty strong.
Yeah, it's probably a robotic horse, right?
People watching this getting grumpy right now. We're normally very professional. Give us a break. I'm looking. Atomic Steed. It looks like a bike.
It looks like a flying bike. So, I mean, it increases his movement speed, right?
Yeah, it's just a flying bike. Yeah, cool, he can have it. I'm not even sure if it helps.
I don't know either. I just read it on the wiki and I was like, sounds like an advantage. Bill,
as far as I know,
it's pretty fucking wham.
Is basically just a Thor-bat animal.
Yeah. I don't know if he has any additional. Not as far as I know.
Oh, apparently he's part cyborg. That's interesting. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, I'm just gonna. He's Thor, but he can't summon lightning. It's basically that. He uses Stormbreaker in the comics. Not.
Yes, he does.
Thor doesn't use Stormbreaker. Beta Ray Bill was supposed to kill Thor before becoming a good guy. And that's why he had Stormbreaker, because it was supposed to break the storm, i.e. Thor. Fun fact. I mean, it's Beta Ray Bill. It just is. This is a god level being fighting a human who's got a sword that imbues a bit of power on a flying bike.
Yeah. I'm more
and you know what? I'm more than happy for the comments to cook me alive here. I've never claimed to be a fucking all-seeing, all-knowing Marvel expert. I know a bit about a lot of characters. I know a lot about a smaller subset of characters. There is nothing I know about these characters that would lead me to believe that Black Knight, although he'd fight valiantly and wouldn't be embarrassed, Beta Ray Bill's just god tier, literally.
My only thought, which I'm pretty sure I know, or you might also know, is my only thought would be like, what can the Ebony Blade do to, is it power, like, is it special enough that it can hurt him, or is it only good on like vampires and weird dead things? I can't, because that's like the Black Knight's main thing, right? He has the Ebony Blade, which is like a powerful ancient sword, but in terms of powerful versus humans and vampires, yeah, sure, but versus Beta Ray Bill, it's a different sort of thing.
On his fandom wiki, it says former powers was the Phoenix Force, which obviously he doesn't have in this situation. Abilities, intelligence, and swordsmanship. I don't think the Ebony Blade is particularly special.
Okay. It might just be special against vampires.
I'm double checking to confirm this. Bear with. Properties. Okay, it has some powers. Deflects lots of magical attacks, can cut through any substance, except other enhanced weapons, so it's not going to stop Stormbreaker.
No. But it could hurt him a little bit at least.
Yeah, no, it's gonna hurt if he catches him. The blade and its wielder are linked. That's fine, which means Dane has really good control over it.
Yep.
Merlin's enchanted the blade so the wielder can be injured but not killed. Don't think that matters. Okay, I mean, on the flip side of that, according to Merlin, the link between the blade and the wielder means the evil acts committed by the wielder contain the blade. If used to spill too much blood in evil acts, it will begin to crave blood and will induce the wielder to kill even more.
Yeah, so it's just a slightly more... It's just a special sword.
It's a pretty fucking strong sword.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it's Beta Ray Bill. I think... Yeah. What that tells us is, I think the Black Knight will get some damage done. He will actually, like, cut Beta Ray Bill and be able to actually do some damage to him and not just be bouncing a sword off of him and not doing anything. I don't think there is any... There is no situation where the Black Knight outfights Beta Ray Bill's stamina, strength, movement,
durability.
Like, sure, Black Knight, we're giving him a flying bike, he can fly around. Beta Ray Bill can just
actually fly.
Yeah, so it just helps even that.
One seed versus the A seed, even with the advantage, I didn't expect it to be particularly close.
Yeah, unless we gave the 8th seed something too broken. So
the only way we win him for him here is if we would have given him the Phoenix Force, but that is too large a buff.
Yeah. So I think unfortunately,
giving people the Phoenix Force, we may as well just let the Flash in.
True. I think unfortunately, the Black Knight does better than your average knight, but yeah, it's Beta Ray Bill. Unfortunately, he's not gonna outmatch Beta Ray Bill.
Exactly.
Put him against Dracula, no problem.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Anyone who's not like god tier, he's gonna have a good chance because he's a really talented fighter and the sword buffs him in all the good ways.
Yeah, he's not gonna just get smacked down instantly. Like he'll put up a fight, but 100%. He ain't gonna outlast him.
Yeah, Beta Ray Bill just too good. Like he's a legitimately fucking tank.
Yeah, he's gonna outlast him in every aspect of the fight. So I think that's pretty clean and cut on who progresses there. As we said, 1st seed versus 8th seed. And it happened in the last bracket. The first few rounds of every group are going to be more of a heavy one-sided fight. Unless one of them where the lower seed has a buff that we can give them that substantially makes it more even without making them too strong.
Yep. That's it. There we go. We got our first winner of our new bracket.
Yes.
So the way it will go through is, whereas before I made the entire bracket and people played as they went on, in each group, everyone is obviously seeded 1 to 8. Depending on who wins, highest seed gets matched with lowest seed, and that continues.
Yep.
So Beta Ray Bill being the 1 seed, when we get back round to him, will go up against
whoever's the
lowest remaining seed.
Yes. And if you haven't worked out, this first group is Marvel Heroes.
See.
So we know 3 others.
Yeah.
We've announced 3 others in this group.
The others known in this group are Scott Lang's Ant-Man, Miles Morales, and Daredevil.
Yes.
One of whom you will be seeing next week.
Oh.
Dun dun dun. And we will work out the advantage before the fight next week.
Yeah.
But don't act like you come here because you think we're some high quality production.
Yeah, we ain't no professional.
2 fucking nerds sitting in their respective bedrooms.
You've just done this for 32 weeks. We're just the average Joes.
I mean, it took us like what? In 12 weeks to put together the original bracket, for fuck's sake.
We
every week since like the 4th week.
We kept talking about the bracket, and then we kept leaving it till the episode to kind of come up with a Superhero Showdown. And then eventually we did it. So
yeah.
This is very organized for us.
This is why we need like a production assistant or something. I have £2.50. Who wants to come be our editor and production assistant?
We'd probably still do more work than Frosty.
Oof. Anyway, thank you very much for hanging out.
Yeah, I think that.
We hope you've had a lovely time. Please remember to like and subscribe and do all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening over on one of the audio-only platforms,
it was a review.
Obviously, you can enjoy listening there. Make sure you review it. I think you can like on some of them. And if you're like, I wish I could see their faces, we are on YouTube. YouTube.com/cutscene convos. Come over.
Or if you don't want to see our faces, but you don't want to listen to the full episode again, you can go to TikTok.
Yeah.
Or YouTube Shorts and see small snippets of our faces.
In it, tiny little bits. But thank you as always. We're having a blast. Next week's going to be a big bumper episode with more She-Hulk, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. And Christ knows what's going to happen in the meantime.
Hopefully
it's all too much and too exciting.
Hopefully me talking about more dragons.
Dragons! Anyway, thank you very much. Have a lovely weekend.
We'll see you next week.